Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of the end times. Well, by now, I am sure you have read all those sensational headlines about the interview Pope Francis gave to a Jesuit magazine. Here's what Yahoo said. The Pope says the Church must end its obsession with gays, contraception, and abortion. I have read the entire article, and the Pope said very little about gays, contraception, and abortion. He said as much about praying the rosary every day and praying an hour before the Blessed Sacrament. But of course, those headlines don't generate a lot of interest in the American public, at least. And of course, the American media is the one who is really obsessed with gays, contraception, and abortion. But what I found interesting in the article is the Pope also spoke as much about prophecy as any of those sensationalized subjects. And that is what I want to talk about on this program. So let me quote Pope Francis, because I think I agree on just about everything he said. Religious men and women are prophets. They are those who have chosen a following of Jesus that imitates his life in obedience to the Father, poverty, community life, and chastity. Well, I believe he is right. Simply by living a celibate lifestyle, priests and nuns witness to the world. And the Pope continued. The vow of chastity must be a vow of fruitfulness. In the Church, the religious are called to be prophets, in particular by demonstrating how Jesus lived on this earth, and to proclaim how the kingdom of God will be in its perfection. And again, I agree with the Pope. Jesus also lived a life of poverty, chastity, and obedience. And as such, he lived in contradiction to the world. And Pope Francis continues. A religious must never give up prophecy. This does not mean opposing the hierarchical part of the Church. Now listen to this. This is very interesting. Although the prophetic function and the hierarchical structure do not coincide. Well, I have found this to be very true. I mean, how many popes or cardinals or bishops have been prophets recently? I can tell you none. All the prophets of the last 100 or 200 years have been children or housewives or maybe sometimes a nun or a priest, but never a bishop or a pope or a cardinal. So the Pope is right on the money when he talks about the hierarchy and prophecy. And he continues. Being prophets may sometimes imply making waves. Well, Pope Francis, you're right on that also. I do not know how to put it. Prophecy makes noise, uproar, some say a mess. Right on, Pope. But in reality, the charism of religious people is like yeast. Prophecy announced the spirit of the gospel. And I can tell you from personal experience, Pope Francis, you are right about making waves and being unpopular. The term popular prophet is an oxymoron. If you look at my least popular videos, they are the most prophetic. All I have to do is point out my video, if you use condoms, you will not be raptured. Now that is a true prophecy, but the dislikes on that video are amazing. People do not want to be prophesied to. In fact, in the Old Testament, most of the great prophets were murdered by the people they were prophesying to. And what did Jesus say? He told the scribes and Pharisees, you have slain the prophets from Abel to Zechariah. So, in conclusion, Pope Francis, I agree with you 100%. I am certainly not among those who are proclaiming that you are a false prophet. Now, it may turn out that you are blowing smoke But from what I have read so far and from what I have heard, I support you, and I believe you are a true pope. And that means that in these end times, you are Petrus Romanus, the good pope, who will lead the church during the times of great tribulation. And don't forget my bumper sticker offer. This is free. If you would like one to put on your vehicle or anywhere else, simply send a self-addressed stamped business envelope to me at the address you see on your screen.